Welcome to the Temple of Flame. On today, Faith Lock Lights, we take a look at this. And what this is from Puckerbutt, it is the Peach Habanero hot sauce. Giving it a 2. A 2 for heat. A 2 for heat. Let's take us a look here. So we have Springs Farm peaches with 16 varieties of habs from around the world. Certainly have a very orangish color here to this. Okay, don't care about any of that. All right, so we have vinegar, peaches, peppers, spices. Unnamed spices. The peppers are 16 varieties, apparently, of habaneros. And Springs Farms peaches. And I guess probably white vinegar. This is definitely a sauce that needs some agitation. I think I did a peach super hot blend, and those were peach peppers, but didn't contain actual peaches. This one, well, I've had me a lot of peach hot sauces. I've had me a lot of peach habanero hot sauces. So when I saw this one I hadn't tried yet, I thought, that could be interesting. I'm not sure what the exact spices are. This reads very much as vinegar, pepper, and then there's a very grace note of like a fruit there. It's not hugely peachy, but you can get it in bits and pieces here and there. Very vibrant orange color, though. I think the color of this is really, really pretty. It's almost it's not quite a pumpkin-y color, but it's just that really nice sort of brownish, orangish sort of hue there. I don't know. I really like this color. I think it looks really, really good. But let's jump on in. Yeah, so vinegar, a habanero flavor, and then there's a sort of a little bit of a bitterness there, and then there's a back end kind of the peach. Peach is not very forward in this, though, to be honest. It is definitely much more, despite peaches being the second ingredient, it's much more pepper and vinegar. It's not quite a pepper vinegar, however, to the extent that the super hot blend that I also did from Puckerbutt, you can check. If you follow the link for the written review for this, available in the description below, you can go to the blog and just click on the table of contents and check out that review if you're interested. This is closer to a sauce. Very, very, very runny, though. Very watery. So what I did, here's what I did. I'll tell you what I did. So here's what I did. I'll tell you what I did. These are barbecued chicken thighs. So I did the regular salt and pepper that I usually do with this one. And I did just nothing. This one is just straight across Maillard effect. No seasoning of any kind on it. And I thought, this might be really interesting to experiment and just kind of see where, it's just straight across, wonderful Maillard effect chicken. And so I thought, here's what I'll do. I'll try it both ways. Because I feel like this, I don't know if there's salt in it or not. I feel like if there is, there's not enough. And I noticed that Ed does that a lot. He doesn't seem to put salt in his sauces much of the time. Yeah, this is I don't like. I like that. Let's try a little bit more on one with some more, a little bit stronger Maillard. I do think this is okay on like fried chicken, like breaded chicken. I don't like it like this. I'd rather have it without anything. All right. Well, let's try it here on the salt pepper chicken. What are you? Yep. Just as I thought. The addition of salt really helps us quite a bit. I don't know if it's a health thing. I can't imagine he's just forgetting to put it in there. It seems intentional at this point. So I don't know if it's like a healthy thing or what. I don't know. Oh boy. It is much better with the inclusion of a little bit of salt. The salt pepper chicken is fantastic. I do like it here. It's an interesting bit of sweetness along with the vinegar and a bit of bitterness as well. What if let's do this. Why don't we throw some of this in a spoon? And why don't we still just a tish in there and see if we can't get that to dissolve. Might be a little bit more than a tish, but I don't need a whole bunch. It doesn't need more than whatever's there though, that's for sure. All right, let's take this. I'll dump it on the plate. Then that way we can use it as a dipping sauce. That was actually, I could use actually just a tad more of that, but we'll wait for it to dissolve all the way, I think. No, I think it's fully dissolved. Oh. It's one of the things, okay, so I don't keep regular salt. I only keep kosher salt. And it can, you know, if you have a salt shaker, that might be the better way to go, where you can set it to be really fine. All right, salt and pepper thigh is done. Let's move it on along to out of here. I'm just not a fan of animal fat. I could never make it as a competitive eater. So, adding in salt does something else. And this is what I was thinking was going to happen. It actually is bringing forward the peach flavor. So I'm not sure. Like the other one I said was just like a pepper vinegar. Oh boy, that's good. And that's how I used the other bottle. I just use it just as a straight vinegar. This one isn't quite there, but it makes it's amazing how much just a little salt can change the complexion of stuff. That's really good. Again, I don't know. I don't know why. I've seen other sauces too where I feel like just Dad doesn't want to use salt, or a lot of it anyway. This one, I mean, it could be salt in it. It says spices. I guess you'd say salt is a spice. There is no sodium in this though, so I suspect it's not. That's amazing. Yeah, definitely, for me anyway, this sauce is considerably improved by the addition of just a little bit of salt. And it does very nicely bring the peaches more forward in the flavor, which is, for me anyway, what I would want. I would want something that's saying it's peach habanero to be more forward in terms of the peach flavor than this is as it is. That is something I guess I'll have to keep an eye on going forward with the Pucker. I don't know what's going on with the Puckerbutt line, whether it's, you know, we have Puckerbutt and we have a Smokin' Ed's line. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're trying to do over there. But that is something I'm going to start keeping an eye on from this point, is to kind of look at those things and see if maybe that is just, you know, part of the signature way that he likes to do his blends, is just without salt of any kind. And like I said, I don't know whatever the rhyme or reason for that. I will say though that adding just a little bit to this sauce not only brought the peach flavor more forward, but it for my mind improved the flavor of this pretty substantially. So I guess take that for whatever it's worth. But heat level on this is pretty minimal. It's only habanero, so it's not going to be scorching, but it's definitely a unique entry into things. I like the idea of this. I just, you know how I am with fruit-based. Well, if you don't, you can check out lots of videos or reviews. But here's how I am with fruit-based hot sauces. I want them to be fruit-based sweet hots. 100% of the time. Always, always, always. That's what I want. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I prefer to have. And this one, where it's this sort of quite watery texture and so on, doesn't really live up to kind of where I'm going for. There's not a lot of sweetness to be had in here particularly. So this one, I might wind up using it as a vinegar. I think this would be a really interesting vinegar, actually. I think that would make something really super fascinating. But we're still a ways away from where I would be using the oven to make, like, for instance, fire brownies. So I'm not quite sure where this one's going to go, but there is, to my mind, an easy fix. And as long as I have that around, then I guess I'll be able to resolve any of that with this. But I don't think there's necessarily a bad thing about having fruit and pepper flavored vinegars. I don't think that's a negative at all. It just maybe should be marketed as that rather than a hot sauce. To my mind, again, I kind of went through that other sauce, prompted me to go through what I think are the basics that you would need for a hot sauce, and salt was one of those things, which doesn't appear to be in this at all. So, but definitely, it's a pretty unique approach. I'll give it that, and it's not horrible or bad or anything like that. It just isn't scratching the itches that I kind of wish it was, and but you can get there. you can get there, and we'll just leave it right there. So that was the Puckerbutt Peach Habanero Hot Sauce. Now go full in peace to serve the flame.